Hello everyone, I'm Shani, a final year student of Petra Christian University majoring in International Business Management. As a final year student, I start asking myself, what have I learned during my university life? Why should I learn all of those things? And finally, I have to figure out how could I apply all those lessons so that I could be successful in the future. Thus, in this very rare opportunity, I am making a video as a requirement for my final project of M&E Engine course as a part of my university study. In this short video, I would like to share mostly about myself, my core competencies, and things that I need to do in order to achieve my goals through the result of 5 self-assessment tests that I have taken beforehand. So stay tuned! To create a more understandable flow, I would like to use the 6S framework that is specially developed by my beloved lecturer, Professor Dr. Casey Chen. This framework comprises of awareness, alignment, action, adoption, assurance, and last but not least is anticipation. In the awareness, I would like to determine my personality type by using the tests that consist of learning style test, general enterprising tendency test, Big 5 personality test, Robbins 9 team roles test, and leadership assessment test. So here is the result all of those tests. In the learning style test there are 4 learning style types, which are theorist, pragmatist, activist, and reflector, to know better about individuals' competence. From this first test, I got the highest score in the reflector, which means that I like to think in detail before taking action. Moreover, I also tend to be more careful and thoughtful in making any decisions. And in the second test, which is the General Enterprising Tendency Test or GET test, it is shown that I stand out in the drive and determination variable. It means that I will be more confident in taking opportunities after some careful thoughts and calculations of the risks that might happen. Additionally, I will be persistent to get things done and work harder after I decided on something. Let's move on to the third test, which is the Big 5 personality test. In here, I got the outstanding score in 2 variables, which are agreeableness and conscientiousness. In here, conscientiousness is a personality of being honest and hardworking. People with high score in this variable usually tend to follow rules and prefer tidy and clean environment. And in terms of agreeableness, it is about how well individuals adjust behavior to others. Getting high scores in these 2 variables reflect an individual who tends to be polite, indirect, and loves to interact with people a lot. In the Belbin's 9 team rules, I am considered as an implementer, team worker, and also completer or finisher, which is more towards social-oriented and action-oriented roles. Individuals who get high scores in these variables are typically cooperative and able to work with people that come from different background and culture. As an implementer, I will tend to be more disciplined and reliable. I also will come earlier when attending meeting or when having appointment with people. As a team worker, I would like to listen well to other people's ideas rather than talking on a group project. Moreover, I will also be able to be a good listener when my friends share their stories or problems, and I will try to solve those problems by looking at other people's perspectives. And last but not least, as a completer or finisher, I am classified as a perfectionist person, since I could not let any little mistakes to be happen in completing every project that I took. Well, this behavior sometimes could actually annoy people who do not really pay attention to details. And lastly, in the leadership assessment test, I am good in communicating, building relationships, and negotiating with other people. I am able to get along with people and make friends easily. I also love to share some stories and jokes with my friends to retain a good relationship with them. Thus, it will help me to have a broad network which will be very important for my future career. So now, after doing all the self-assessment tests, I have been able to know myself better. Now it's the time for me to align all those outstanding capabilities that I have on myself with my future career in 1, 3, and 5 years. In 1 year's time, I have planned to do my internship, thesis, and of course to graduate on time. For my internship opportunity, I have chosen PT Hanjaya Mandala Sampurna as the company that I am going to work for. And yes, I am very grateful that I finally have already accepted in that company. One of my considerations in choosing PT Hanjaya Mandala Sampurna is because it is a multinational company and it is also granted as one of the biggest manufacturing company in Surabaya. Why Surabaya? Well, I chose to do my internship in Surabaya because first, I believe it could be more convenient for me to make appointment with my lecturer in discussing my thesis project. And secondly, it is because I also want to help my parents in developing their factory so that I could start learning my family business earlier. Thus, I hope that I could gain a lot of new experiences during this 1 year time. For the 3 years time, I have planned on going to China to learn Chinese language. Seeing the development of China nowadays, I believe that learning Mandarin will be very useful to the business in the future. As many people also believe that Chinese will be the second international language in 10 until 20 years from now. And fortunately, my plan to learn Chinese language is actually supported by my parents. So, as I had the opportunity to do so, I would like to encourage myself to make this dream come true. Let's say in a longer period of time, in 5 years' time, I must already be back to Indonesia from my study in China. From that point, I would plan to help my parents in developing their business, especially in export-import kind of thing. I have a goal to export their products to other countries by using the basic export-import skill that I got from export-import management course that I have learned in my university life. And of course, in order to implement that goal, I need to learn more export and import skills so that I could be able to understand this field better. Besides that, I also love baking and cooking. Thus, while helping my parents in growing their existing business, I would join some cooking classes as well to enhance my cooking and baking skills and keep exercising myself in making any type of foods at home. And in the period of 10 years from now, I hope that I could create my own bakery. As time goes by, I want to expand my bakery to be bigger and opening some branches worldwide by implementing all the skills and knowledge that I have learned so far. I hope that in the future, I will never stop growing and overwhelming myself with brand new knowledge and experiences. So after discussing about all those future plans to build up my career, now let's go back to the present time in which I have to know what do I have now and what have I learned during my 4-year study in IBM. In this part, I want to highlight the courses that have been all taught by Professor Dr. Casey Chan, which are IBM, IMM, GSM, and finally MNDNG courses. During all the courses, Professor Dr. Casey Chan has shaped our mind to use the holistic thinking frameworks, including What, Why, How framework, 6S framework, Data Matrix framework, Iceberg model, House of IBM, and so on. I have realized that all of those frameworks are actually very important and very useful in solving day-to-day problems. Moreover, from bundle of presentations that I have been through these 4 semesters, I could improve my public speaking, teamwork, problem solving, and also my PowerPoint skills, which I believe those will be very important for my future career. After reviewing all the hard and soft skills that I got during my university life, the next question will be how do I adopt those skills? And surprisingly, I realized that all my friends and I have unconsciously always used the frameworks that is developed by Professor Dr. Casey Chan, especially 6S framework for doing every assignments in other subjects. This indicates that it will be a good start for us to have a habit to think holistically in solving problems, which will be very useful to be used in our workplace later on. To measure the effectiveness for the outcome, I need to assure that my input will be balanced with the output that I will get in the future time. I have to make sure that the result, which is my future career, will produce a greater results than the input that I have put before. And everything does not end here. After constructing all the variables in the framework, I need to anticipate every possible risk that may happen as time goes by. Those risks may come from both external and internal parts. External risks includes all risks that might come from the environment itself, for example, the inflation, interest rate, market share, corruption, political stability, and other related conditions. On the other side, the internal risk includes all risks that might come from my own weaknesses. Taking example from myself, I tend to be easily influenced by other people since I sometimes listen to people too much. Moreover, my perfectionist side could be somehow annoyed people who do not really pay attention in details. But the most important things above all is about how could we highlight all the positive sides that we have and how to overcome all the weaknesses to be our strengths so that we could be a better individuals and will then be successful in the future. Okay, so this is the end of my video. I hope that you guys could learn something from my experiences. Thank you for watching and see you guys on top. Bye!